Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new Eachine FPV eraser. This is nothing else than the successor of the famous Aurora 100. This is the RC Mini 110, and with this new bundle they upgraded most of the electronic compound and the frame as well. So what we have in the menu? Well, first some stronger ESC 28 amperes, peak at 35. BLES Edition 600, of course. The F3 board is still the same, still in nano format, but now integrating, I think, no built-in OSD. For the motors, they also upgrade from 1104 to 1106, okay? Spinning slower at 5500 kV, but 3S compatible and probably also 4S. So let's discover the content of this new bundle. Three choices of receiver are proposed: a FllySky in D8 mode, a FllySky in AFHDS2 air protocol, and Spectrum SM2 SMX. So let's discover that. Here are all the contents. I will start first with the instruction manual, a simple piece of paper, ono recto, okay, where all the instructions are resumed. First, how to bind in D8 mode for the FllySky, for the FllySky receiver, okay, generally via the bind button. Keep it pressed while turning on the quadcopter and send and run the binding sequence onto your radio. The Betaflight receiver configuration, mainly for the last three protocol, you have to turn on the UART 3. So, after, if you have a Spectrum, you need some extra command in the CLI. And how to tune the video transmitter. It's a 48 channels divided in 6 subband. You have two rows of light. Blue are for the V-band selection and green more for the V-frec inside the selected V-band. You have a binary code to handle this up to this 8 shows for the V-frec, okay, so it's not very not complex. Short press to cycle inside for all the V-frec inside the V-band selected, and long press more 2 seconds to select one of the 6 V-band. Okay, if you press more than 10 seconds, you will be able to select either 25 milliwatts, 100 or 200 milliwatts. That's great. I already pre-installed all the elements, but the machine comes without the prop install, okay, without the battery strap install, and the anti-slide section pad also. So when you receive, you will have this Gen Fan pack where 8 props, exactly some 25, 40, 3-blade edition offer. Mine are red, but they are shipped with a different random color, I guess transparent or blue, some stuff like this. So they are pretty light, okay. I don't feel them super durable, but should remove most of the jello. And if you are interested by the weight of each of one, is about 1.1 gram. You will need to attach to the machine to use the 2 bag of screws offer. So name each of them M2 by 5 mm and M2 by 7. You have to use the longer M2 by 7. So take 4 for the first bag, 4 other in the other bag to attach here, okay, via an Allen X screwdriver. So really also pre-install the battery strap. You will probably need to unfast a little bit of the screws holding the main electronic tower to be able to pass through beneath the ESC board the battery strap. I'll also tune the anti-slide system, okay, and tape it, okay, it come with, and it will completely definitively secure the battery installation. Thanks to the battery strap and this system, no risk to lose mid-flight the batteries. That's great, and it was really required. So now it's solidly installed, okay, and if you are interested by the total weight with a 303S LiPo 30C from some SPC maker model, to be more precise, the total weight of this machine, okay, is about 128 grams. So let's now focus a little bit on the machine itself. We have first on top here, okay, the FSky receiver. And in fact, this later was installed more rear, and the buy button was not directly accessible, so I had to remove the top cover and to move a little bit forward this in order to pass to be able to click directly on the bind button. So it's connected via S-Bus connection. You can also install more vertically the 2.4 GHz antenna. It's a super compact model. Unfortunately, this one doesn't output the RSSI on the last channel. It means that no RSSI information either on your OSD and also by telemetry. That's really a drawback, because for such kind of advanced quadcopter, to not have RSSI could be problematic in my point of view, in order to avoid to being out of range. Whatever, let's continue. What the first impression I have, this machine is super strong. Remember the Aurora 100? It was at the time almost the perfect machine, and the only drawback was the thickness, the poor thickness of this arm, only 1 mm, and here we have something about 3 mm, 3 strong carbon arms, and it sounds super solid, super rigid. I'm not afraid to meet some oscillation. Okay, let's continue. For the electronic, centrally on the bottom we have the ESC 28 ampere peak at 35 right now, so should handle 4S without any problem. The main question, how the motor will be able to handle 4S as well. On the centrally we have the F3 board, where we have the built-in now OSD chip, and the MPU for 6-axis stabilization is connected via SPI. It's a basic 68,000, okay, and should not suffer of wear, freak out like some different MPUs in some recent machine. On top we have the video transmitter part. The linear 5.8 GHz antenna is attached through a small micro FL connector. That's great if you want to replace the antenna via a cover leaf. It's up to you. Be aware to secure eventually with a small drop of glue the micro FL connector. On the rear here, exactly, we have this small button here where you can tune either the, if short press, the V frec, or long press the V band, and very long press, more than 10 seconds, the output power. The two rows are displayed here. Let's show you this amount of light information. So let's connect the SDXT, and you will be able to see both color indications. So the more front to you, it's the greens for the V-frec, the blue is for the subband selection, and here flashing twice is the amount of output power. Twice means I'm actually outputting 100 milliwatts. Okay, if you want to output 200, sorry, you should see 3 light, and this is a default factory setting, output 200 milliwatts. Okay, look that on the rear we have a strong LEDs, but out of the box they are not configured in BLLE. You will have to do the job yourself. Okay, on top we have the flashing, waiting for the binding. This is the FSky green receiver status. Okay, so sounds great. No frontal light for the lost condition flight. Anyway, what we can see on top, on front, this is a run cam, or a clone of the Recam micro camera. You have also hidden behind this small OSD port to tune some camera settings. That's great, but the cable is not provided. So we have this camera. It's a CCD model, 600 TVL with a super light sensitivity. Unfortunately, the lens orientation is fixed. Okay, no possibility to tune that actually. Okay, even by unscrewing the 2 lateral screws, seems to be solidly attached, but have to be confirmed. And it's fixed at about 20-25%. So if you have an aggressive flyer, probably you will need some mod, but maybe by unscrewing you have the little chance to maybe to adapt a little bit, to bend a little bit this camera. Okay, actually solidly attached. So the general structure is great. Look, the 2.5-inch props. We have a lot of free room available. Well, not so much, but some. Maybe, okay, with some little optimization, some 3-inch props could be installed. Whatever, we have a strong machine, already working fine in 3S. and it should work in 4S and 4S as well. Okay, so my first impression compared to the Aurora 100, it's much more stronger and durable for sure. The total weight, okay, of this one, I remind you, about 128 grams. It's close to 10-15 grams more heavier than the former 100 model. So it's a little bit heavy, but the motors are also be reinforced. They are now 1106, so more taller, offer more power. So we gain also some trust. Okay, so the compromise of trust versus weight should be probably in favor of this new model. So what we could expect, maybe enough for board, okay, but at least we need absolutely some gyros, shape stabilized and dampened for sure. The frontal camera, as you can see, is not directly protected by a frontal shock. It's like the SPC maker, it could be problematic. You can break it. The field of view of this camera is about 120 degrees. Is a 2.1 millimeters of focus if you are more interested. So sounds pretty good, and centrally on the rear side between the two LEDs we have a buzzer, and you hear already buzzing. So sounds pretty well configured, and this F3 board comes with Betaflight 3.2.2 pre-flash. You have to know that the receiver session is pre-tuned, okay, but except that we have the default Betaflight, at least for the PIDs. Always the information are displayed by default, so your screen will be fully covered. They could spend a little bit some time to personalize a little bit the layout of the OSD. As well, you will do also probably to adapt your own rates and the flight mode switch, of course. So now it's time to bind, but as I repeat, it's super easy. You just need to press this bind button here, okay, while powering the XT30 connector, okay, and run the procedure. If you have this type of radio, just a remark, the Orange X, you have to know that all PSK receiver need a small shift in the frequency. So if I selected the PSK radio, be sure to select the fine, something about 64. It's not the case for the jumper, you can leave it to 0. Okay, so be aware of that. So it's super easy to bind. Just keep this bind button available, pressed, and power of the machine. You can use the USB power bank, is working, okay, and it's probably more easy than run the binding procedure. Now it's time to check the Betaflight settings, okay, and after some demo flight. Let's check the default Betaflight configuration. So I will press connect, and immediately I will check in the CLI section the current version installed, and it's confirmed to be an Omnibus Nano F3 with Betaflight 3.2.2 pre-flashed, and it's strongly advised each time to dump all your factory settings in case you did a mistake. You will be able to restore everything, so copy all the command, paste into an empty text file. I already did it. Save these text files, and in emergency, if you did a mistake you want to restore, paste into the CLI, and don't forget to hand with the save command. Okay, let's have a tour to the machine. So I will reconnect. You can hear the buzzer connecting. Sometimes it needs twice. Okay, and it's connecting. Okay, here we are. So we have the gyros accelerator. So let's check the port, and as mentioned in the first part of the video, be sure to have the serial port turned on the UART3 if you are using the FlySky, FlySky or Spectrum, okay, for sure. Let's have a look to the configuration panel right now. We have a quad X, normal sense of rotation, dish axis 100 pre-selected, that's great, motor stop, okay, and we have for the F3 we have already 18-19% of CPU usage, where the gyros is set to 8 kilos and the PID loops to 2 kilos. We can probably push to 4 kilos here and disable the barometer since we don't have any barometers. Okay, let's continue to discover a serial protocol receiver, and more particularly S-bus is selected. It's correct. Let's continue. We have the LED strip features turned on, okay, but it doesn't mean it's already pre-configured, and the USD as well. Okay, sounds to be good, and I will save the information and let's check the CPU usage. Already start to see we are climbing to something about 27%. Okay, so it's not a big okay, 23. Okay, it's not a big deal. So let's continue in configuration and power battery, sorry, and we have the different minimum and warning cells, 3.5, 3.3, and the maximum is more set for the NLE HV. Okay, and let's continue with the PIDs. So we have the default Betaflight 3.2.2 settings. So I will keep them actually and just apply my favorite rates, something a little bit faster, something about 800 degrees per second. Okay, sorry, something a little bit slower is more on the super rate. Okay, something like this. And for the I prefer something more linear with a lower super rate. Sounds good for me. Okay, like this, and I will apply a comma. It will be, oh sorry, I need to apply something. Okay, sounds great like this. I will keep the level strength to 50, and let's check the default gain, anti-gravity, threshold, and exactly the default factory. We can check the filter settings. Big quad, exactly the default factory. Nothing has been really done on this PIDs and rates. Let's save, and I will turn on the receiver. Okay, and now I will go to the receiver section. So I should have something centered on 1000, and if not, be sure to play with your mixture to center. For example, for me the pitch need to be centered close to 1500 as well on the yaw. I've got the different auxiliary available, and as you can see, you don't see any the aux5 in general moving according to the RSSI. So they disable by default. It's a drawback that the receiver is not flash with something sending the RSSI on the last channel. Anyway, it's like this. If you have a Taranis, probably you will need to change the channel mapping to something starting with this with the throttle. So like this. And why it's not applying like this? Okay, starting with the T throttle and so on. But me, I will use more of the classic aileron, elevator, and so on. So I can apply a deadband of 4 as well as the yaw deadband. Okay, and I will remember to center all my first 4 channels on the 1500. Be sure also to exceed the value of 1950, for example, especially for the yaw. Okay, and the throttle. Okay, it's very important to be above 4 arming. Let's check the flight mode, the pre-configure. We have an arming here on the aux3. I will use it, so that's great. Nothing to change. The aux2 is more aux1 for me, so I will just change the switch model. Okay, and nothing else. So we have an angle, six-axis stabilized when the aux2, or for me now aux1, is a 3-way, is on upper position, and by default nothing else. So what I will do, I will also apply probably more something with anti-gravity, but more on the last version. So in the middle I will be in acro plus air mode. Okay, so where is air mode? It should be here. Okay, and I will also in the lower position have air mode plus anti-gravity for acro. Okay, I will save. So let's check that. Actually, okay. Okay, yes, I need to select the aux 1, and where is always selected. Okay, so I don't understand. Anyway, let's continue. I will use a buzzer, because we have a buzzer. It's very important. So I will use my aux2 for me. So when I'm upper position like this, and it will work. So I will save. Okay, now it's working fine. So as you can see, everything is here. And let's continue with now the OSD. So I will switch off all by default, because everything was stupidly turned on by default. I won't apply the RSSI value, because the FieldSky don't have any output, any RSSI. I will show the crosshair, the main battery voltage. Okay, I will apply something about here. And I will also apply the timer. Okay, here something about, and the flight mode as well. So, and also the throttle position, I think is very useful. So something like this, where everything is here available. So let's save that. I will apply my battery capacity about 300 milliamps hours. Save. Okay, and if you want to change, for example, the font of the display information, you will have to go to the font section. Okay, I will continue in the LED strip here. Okay, and by default, as you can see, no lights are defined, so I will apply 2 of them. So I will click on wire ordering. So I will start with this one and this one. Stop. Apply here more color. Warning, this one I will apply more a color indicator. Sorry, here it's an indicator. Okay, should be okay right now. Let's check that. Yes, it's according to the radio is not working as well. I need to check that the everything was okay. Yes, so now I'm ready to go. And let's check now other performances of this machine. Welcome to the demo fly of the Aurora RC Mini. So as you can see, I install more precisely and more vertically and centrally the FieldSky D8 receiver. So be sure to secure completely the battery installation. I will fly with some 3S 350 mAh powers 30C battery. Okay, and as you already saw in the first footage, you can meet with the default PID some huge oscillation. So the idea is to apply more the NDRC PIDs by decreasing both B and D values for the roll and pitch axis. Okay, so now let's have a look first in loss condition. Okay, and let's go more in FPV. Time to connect the battery. Okay, and turn on the quadcopter. Okay, as you can see, for example, the light are well configured as turning as I show in the default Betaflight configuration port. So time to record. Let's check that. Recording, and let's have the machine. Okay. Okay. Something is itching somewhere. Battery. Okay. Wow. Yes, it's much more smoother compared to the original DI4, the PIDs. Yes, no more oscillation in high throttle input. So how this machine is flying beautifully. Wow, it's fast. Really well. Okay, let's see a punch out. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. Wow, that's a punch out. So in acro, fly beautifully. Yes, yes, really, really well. Do that one more time. Yes, pretty well. Okay, a lot of punch. Okay, and let's go now in FPV. Great. First feedback of this Aurora RC Mini after the first flight session. Some disappointment as you observed, and I observed two types of problem in my point of view. The first one, I would say, and you saw in the attempt to do a power lift, a power loop, the flight board didn't reset completely, but I can see that there is a kind of error entering into the flight controller, and a reset, do a kind of reset, not full reset because the Betafly logo didn't appear, okay? So maybe the receiver was not power enough and send some error into the flight controller and engage a kind of disconnection, disarming, because you saw before landing all the statistics of the flight appearing. So and clearly there is a fault genesis into the comment on the last lines. The second problem, and is really annoying also, is a poor range of the FierceSky D8 receiver. And I'll talk with NDRC and also Kim didn't meet any problem at all, where they're exactly in the same situation. So first of all, they use a Geniune or FierceSky radio. So I will attempt more now to fly with the jumper, and give up the Orange X. And in order to be sure that I will enjoy a full FierceSky range, I will play and I tune in the menu, in the exact settings of the FierceSky radio, you have the frag file. For the jumper radio, I set it to 0. What is corresponding this value? This is the middle of the interval between the lower and upper bound, where you lost the receiver connection. How to check that? You will see that the quad will start to beep when you reach one of these lower or upper band, and the green light will start to flash. Okay, so measure that. The lower and upper band, for me, with the jumper, the lower band is -33 and the upper is +34. So in the middle, 0 is correct. For the Orange, it was completely different story. It was 0 for the lower and 128 for the upper band. So there is a strange behavior of the Orange, and can be explained because there is no shielding metal part on the 4-in-1 multi-module. Anyway, I'm sure I will enjoy full range, and I will return to the field and perform some range test. Okay, so I will move with the radio and the quadcopter installed on the ground. I will move away until I can invert the inverse. I will install on the ground the radio and move with the quadcopter until I hear this one beeping, or before, I guess, the light will start to blink, and slower and slower, meaning that I got a low RSSI. Okay, and second point, I will swap this XPC Maker 30C, okay, because I observe when I start to put some throttle, there is a huge low drop, about 1 volt, and I think the discharge rate of this one is not a true 30C. I will use this one, this Eachine model, 40C, and I know it's much better quality battery. Okay, so I hope the receiver will suffer less of brownout as well, and this story about this partial reset of the flight controller will disappear. Okay, now let's time to return into the field. Okay, so I will perform the range test, and I will hold the quadcopter, install the antenna more or less vertically, and the radio will be on the ground, the antenna also pointed vertically. So let's turn on, and I will check when I will lose the bind. So the status of the receiver light will blink, okay, slower and slower. Actually, this is a full light, okay, here on the receiver, full solid one, and now I will try to move backward. Okay, I guess I hope with the jumper there will be a small improvement. So I will hold with something about 1.50 m high, so maybe hold a little bit lower, and I will reach the actually the lead is perfectly solid. And remember my last fly station, I lost the bind close to the trees, and without any high throttle input, so I can't blame the battery swag on this. Okay, the light is still pretty solid. So I will try to move the in the other direction. No, still pretty solid. Okay. Okay, so but I start to have a small beep. Okay, the light is still here. Okay, should be around 1 meter of distance, something like this. Okay, remember yesterday I lost the quadcopter around this area, and the light is still super solid, as you can see, so no problem. So can we remove the receiver as guilty element? Okay, so this is the AC because there is no activity, it's not the receiver, but I will try to hide by myself. And yes, no, he's still here. The light is small, but he's still here, so beep him. So I can hear some beep some time ago, and it's not linked with the receiver. Okay, because I didn't see it flashing or blinking slowly. No problem. So it seems that the range without load is pretty good. One beep. No, the light is here. Try to block with my body. Okay. Now, as you can see, the light is partially blinking. Okay, when I'm blocking my body, the signal, the direct signal. Okay, and here, yes, I retrieve the signal here. Wow, but I've got something about 150 meters of direct range in ground station, in ground position, so it's not so bad.